know it became an Indiana Fever infirmary at some point during the season, earning the Hospital Fever nickname. The injury report read like a novel, and a lot of people wondered, how this could be, how all these various injuries could affect one team. Now, some of it is just bad luck, of course, whenever circumstances like that take place. But there were questions about the rehab process, the way injuries were treated, and that is natural when there is as many of them as there were with the Fever. I mean, you look at the team picture and there's 16 players in it or whatever. You see this, the joking around with crutches and all that, and all those players out for the season: Sidney Colson, Chloe Bibby, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Ari McDonald, so on and so forth. Now, I have no way to know if anything that was done behind the scenes contributed to that or not. But it was interesting to see a job posting by the Indiana Fever. This is a legitimate posting. You can see it online. It's on the Teamwork website as far as what the position itself actually is. Indiana Fever Senior Director of Player Health and Performance. The Senior Director of Player Health and Performance will oversee the health, medical, and athletic performance department for the Indiana Fever. They're responsible for providing professional athletic training and physical therapy care for Fever players and staff. Now, I have no idea if this is just a run-of-the-mill job posting that's already been filled by somebody. I don't know how the hierarchy works behind the scenes, but I do know that it was amusing to see after that litany of Fever injuries this season. And you have to hope, no matter who is working on the Fever players, that it's not something that repeats into next season. I mean, you even had Kelsey Mitchell going down at the very end of the year when she had nothing left. I mean, just absolutely nothing left. This is what she said to Sue Bird about that specific ordeal in the playoffs against Vegas.
And negative blood flow. I didn't get any blood flow to my muscles, so my body just locked too. Like, I told the ref, I'm like, just keep, like, something's happening, like, stop the game. Like, I felt like I was going through an out-of-body experience. Like, I felt numb. I felt like I couldn't move my feet. And then I began to panic here because I'm like, wow, my feet's not moving. And then I looked up at AB and I looked up at Lexi, and, we had gone through so many wars together that, we just start all, like, being emotional. Like, it was just like, oh, my God, my feet's not moving. Like, I just kind of felt crazy. Like, I felt like, and then the end of it was the cramping and all that. But I just felt like I went on an out-of-body experience for like 7 seconds. I felt like my mind and my entire muscles of my body had left me. Like, it was weird. It was crazy.
How scared were you? Like, what was going through your mind when things started to lock up? I saw some quotes saying you couldn't really, whether it was like feel the bottom half of your leg or move the bottom half of your leg. So, I mean, that had to have been so scary.
Yeah, I felt like I felt the worst of the worst is that I was paralyzed. I was like, wow, is this really how it's going to end? Because we competitors and we was just in a moment and, you love basketball and, like, the way the game was going, the way the series is going, the way, the flow of everything at that time, I was just like, the least I thought I was going to do was finish the game. And I felt like, a little piece of like, dang, like, was I not ready for the moment? Is that why it didn't happen? I just had so many emotions and I felt like, like I didn't finish, but my team did. And I was just grateful that I ended up being on the other side of it, but it sucked for a while.
It's hard to believe that Kelsey Mitchell went down. Like, even in retrospect now, it's hard to believe after everything else that she would go down too in the midst of all of that. A series of injuries that you can't imagine one team having to go through, having to manage. So whoever was managing it had a tough job, whether they were doing a great job or a horrible job. You got to hope that Fever core is healthy next year. Kelsey Mitchell, by the way, in that interview indicated essentially that she's going to be back. At least that was the read on it, and talked about, playing alongside Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston.
Yeah. I mean, you already talked a little bit about just like Caitlin, how she was coming in also. So now I want you to talk about like the three of you and how do you complement each other?
I think the best part about it is that our pace, we are aligned on pace, and that is a big part of the game. When it's bad, have a sense of pace still. When it's horrible, have a sense of pace. When it's great, keep the pace going. And Caitlin plays in a way is that we don't have time to dwell. And I think I started to have a better shot efficiency because I started not thinking about it if I missed, because the way Caitlin was playing and the way AB wanted to play, like, let's go. And that had always been how I played. And I'm like, I felt like a kid in the candy store. I'm like, ooh, I'm back with people that want to play fast. And it just, the pace alone was just like our thing. And then from there, our individual games, obviously, me being able to draw, and, being able to cut, and Caitlin see me, her ability to be able to pass, AB ability to be able to pass, which is underrated and people don't talk about. We just had different compliments of each other that worked out.
Yeah, Leah Boston can really pass, and obviously Caitlin Clark is an unbelievable passer. But there you go, another player, including one on the Indiana Fever, talking about how they play fast. For all of you doubters, the Fever do indeed play fast. Now, if you're on Indeed or another job board, maybe you want to apply fast for the posting that the Fever have out there. If you're wondering, here's some more of the job description. Like I said, responsible for identifying individual clinical treatment and rehabilitation strategies, assist in the planning and execution of preseason, in-season, postseason, and off-season screening, testing, and examination. I mean, pretty thorough. Work closely with the team nutrition manager for daily player nutrition, coordinate scheduling of sports medicine and basketball-related activities during in-season and off-season workouts. Order, stock, and pack medical supplies, not to be forgotten there. And I joke around a little bit because I do know, some of these companies, they're required to post a job, even if somebody already has the job or they're getting a promotion or something to that effect. It just, it was appropriate to see that job posting after the season that the Indiana Fever just had, where, all those hardship players had to come in. And you'll remember Aerial Powers, and you'll remember Odyssey Sims, especially, obviously, and Shea Petty. But remember, Kyra Lambert was there for, I forget who was in on a hardship deal or not at this point, because Chloe Bibby wasn't even technically a hardship deal. But it was one of those things where it just like facepalm. I probably hurt myself doing that, just talking about the Indiana Fever. So when I saw the job posting, I did figure it was worth a video, as not everyone was left standing at the end of the season, unless they were, on crutches or assisted in some way, shape, or form in regards to that. So if you're qualified, get those applications in, and best of luck to you in your job search. Best of luck to the Indiana Fever to get through next season without anybody. Well, I mean, it's almost impossible, but let's just say it, without anybody getting hurt.